Okay, hello everyone. This is Suja, and today we're talking about the soul, which, in the context of this book, Thinking in Destiny, is known as the breath form and the four bodies. So, energetically, you have this thing called the breath form. Think of it as like the blueprint by which nature builds your body, right? And you have four bodies. You have the solid body, which is your physical body, your fluid solid body, your airy solid body, and your radiant solid body, which is known as the astral body. And nature builds all these bodies as an expression of your breath form as you incarnate. Think of it like this. Think of your breath form as like a bucket, right? It's the mold. And all of these other things, the solid body and the fluid solid body and the airy solid body and the radiant solid body, are finer grains of sand each. And you put all the grains in the breath form and you put it in there on the beach and you make a very fine sand castle out of it, right? But understand, the sand is not permanent, right? The sand gets washed away in the waves of time. So one thing that this book talks about is your breath form and you are both immortal, right? The problem with your breath form is it doesn't write, or it's not the right blueprint. The grand goal is, once you become more aware and conscious of yourself as yourself, and you become higher and higher in consciousness, right? Which was the purpose of the book, was to tell you to become more aware in, through, and beyond nature. You realize the breath form is wrong, so you have to make changes to the breath form, and then by doing that, by changing your breath form, you can actually gain a solid in a sense, physical body that is completely immortal, right? Which is an interesting idea. So you can actually get physiological immortality. In the Taoist books, I've read about, cultivating the energy of life, and you get like not physiological immortality, but some sort of spiritual immortality. But this is talking about like a physical event. You actually go through physiological changes. Your gut and your heart area and your thorax and even your brain all changes through doing the specific set of practice or being on this specific way. And one other thing I want to touch base on is, right now, as you're alive and when you end up dead, you will take your breath form and it goes with you. What happens is your solid body decays, right? Your fluid solid body, your airy solid body, and even your radiant solid body, astral body, decays. This book talks about how, shades are formed, which is the leftover remnants of an astral body. How, if you're more clairvoyant, you're doing seances and whatnot, what you're really doing is you're talking to the astral body of some dead guy, right? Who's pretending to, be whatever you want them to be, just so they can siphon off more energy from you psychologically. So you got to be careful. One other thing I want to touch base on is, if you think of your bodies as like cars, you are the garage, and your consciousness is the light, all right? Right now, your consciousness is illuminating your physical body. You are physically aware of your physical body. You are like, okay, this is my physical body. You can breathe and you feel it. But you have all these three other bodies. As you progress in your life and eventually discover this, you will be like, okay, well, now I want to use my radiant solid body to explore the astral planes, right? And that's what yoga and yogis do. That's what they're attempting to do. They're actually bodybuilders in one sense, right? They're trying to build out these bodies to be the best they can be. And they're also trying to fix the breath form to become immortal, which sounds insane. But I mean, if you think about it, if you look at the transhumanist movement, most people who are smart and who have technology and who actually understand a lot of math, science, and hard data are like, why the hell do I have to die, right? If death is not necessary, if I can postpone it forever, why the hell wouldn't I, right? So the transhumanists are doing it in one way, whereas the yogis are doing it in another way. So if you look at the yogis and how they talk about getting siddhas or powers, what they're really doing is, because they use these bodies, they can sort of manipulate matter in front of you in ways that you didn't even think was possible. What they have is not powers, but technologies. They're using their body as tools to achieve something, right? So one of the things that this book talked about was, once you have full conscious awareness of both bodies simultaneously, right? You have conscious awareness of the solid body, which is your physical body, and the radiant solid body, and can use both interchangeably anytime you want. You can actually use your astral arm to reach out and levitate an object. From the outside perspective of someone who does not know about this, and who has not sort of awakened on the inner side, and who's not a yogi, who's not meditated, right? who would be like, oh my God, you have superpowers. But from your perspective, no, I'm just using my body to lift an object. It may look magical, but it's a technology. There's a quote, what's the quote? Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Well, this is body magic. So this is how it all works, at least in the framework of this book, which I'm really liking. I've actually applied the framework, and I'll tell you the distinction between lucid dreaming and astral projection based on this framework. So when the doer in the body recedes, he recedes to let nature fix himself. And that recession, that tide going outward is known as sleep. So when you can do two types of sleep. One is partial sleep, which is you're partially receded from the body. And that's also known as REM sleep. Or you can do full receded sleep, which is deep sleep, delta wave sleep, right? Thus, what our lucid dreams really is the doer interacting with the senses, and the senses themselves having been turned inward, interacting with the doer. This is why sensory-based techniques work. This is also why you get more lucid dreams in REM sleep than any other sleep, because in REM sleep, you are partially detached. You are not fully detached. It's easier for you to remember dreams from the REM sleep. So now the distinction with the astral projection part is, what the astral projection part deals with is the body, not the senses, but the body. What the doer is doing is he adds attention to his physical body and to the astral body simultaneously. And once he's aware of both, he sort of just says, I'm a switch, right? He switches, or it can be a she, right? He or she switches from the physical body to the astral body. And once they make the switch and they astral project out some distance, they can go explore some planes and subplanes of the physical world, the astral world. In this book, they talked about a limit to where you can go in terms of clairvoyance, but I'm not entirely sure if it's in terms of the astral body. But I just want to let you know there may be limits to this, right? If you think about your body in terms of cars, like I said with the garage analogy, right? You are the garage, your consciousness is the light, and your light is now focused on this body. But once you become aware and expand the light to focus on the astral body, you can actually use it and drive it as a car. Think of it as like a Ferrari or a McLaren, right? It has different aspects to it that are much more suitable towards exploration rather than the physical. Or rather, it gives you more of reality. So that is the difference between astral projection and lucid dreaming. That is how it all works from the standpoint of this book. I'm very much in love with this idea because it makes sense in my mind and it makes sense in my in my experiences. So one other thing is, you're not necessarily trying to, completely put attention into one body or the other. You're trying to be aware of both. And that's the thing. Attention and awareness are not the same thing. They are two separate ways of knowing. And what you're really doing is you're trying to expand into your internal states, and you do it through relaxation, right? The more relaxed but aware you are, the easier this is. A lot of us are not necessarily aware. Most of us are more attentive than aware. And I'll describe that in another series of videos. So this is what I have for you guys today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next concept video. Bye.